Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much and I really appreciate. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much, you're highly welcomed. Today's video will be learning how to cut and sew a bustier. So let's get started. At the upper part, I will be marking half an inch and then I'll connect it with a straight line, so that line will start as my starting line. So from there I'll be minusing 6.5 inches, so that's where I want the neck to start from. Then I'll mark my bust point, on the bust point the half length, and then 1 inch for hemming allowance. So after that I'll connect it with a straight line. So after that I'll be marking my bust span measurement divided by 2, and then I'll add half inch to it. Then I'll mark it from the neckline to the waistline. Then I'll connect it with the straight line. So at the underbust, I'll be tightening my underbust, but I will be tightening my underbust by 2.5 inch. The calculation will be on the screen. From the bust point I'll cut down by 1 inch and then connect it with my curvula. So after that I'll connect the dash down to the waistline. So I will go ahead to tighten my overbust with 1 inch on both sides, and then I'll connect it down to the bust point like this. Then I will go ahead and blend it very well. For the neckline I'll be using 5 inches, so I'll leave the calculation on the screen. I'll mark 5 inches there, then add half inch to it for joining the side front. Then from there I'll remove the 6.5 inches and mark 8 inches for my armhole. Then there I'll mark the cut of my bust circumference, put the dart intake, and then add half inch to it for joining the side front. I hope you understand. Then I'll connect the armhole like this. So at the underbust I repeat the same thing, mark the cut of the underbust, add the dart intake and half inch. At the underbust I will do the same, and then I'll connect the points like this. So after that I'll go ahead to add the seam allowance. I used 1.5 inches. Sorry, I used 1.5 inches. So I will add seam allowance at the upper part, half inch. Then after that I will go ahead and cut it out. So for the front side, then I will go ahead to draft the back side. Then I'll be removing 0.5 inch. Then from there I'll remove 6.5 inches. Then I'll mark the full length and then add 1 inch for hemming allowance at the down part. So after that I'll be removing my zipper allowance, which is 1.5 inches. Then I'll mark it, zipper allowance. So from there I'll be marking for the back neckline. I use 6 inches. We use 5 inches for the front. The back is wider than the front, so I added 1 inch to it. From there I'll go down by 8 inches, and then I'll mark the cut of my bust circumference and then add 1.5 inch seam allowance, and then I'll go ahead and connect the armhole like this. So remember, we are not adding the half inch that we added at the front at the back, so that's why I marked it cancel, so that you will not make that mistake. Then from there I'll go ahead to mark the dart. This is the dart, 0.5 inch on both sides like this, and then I'll connect it like this. So to avoid the zip bulge, I will go in by 0.5 inch at the zipper side. You can see it on the screen. I'll go in by 0.5 inch. Then I'll mark the cut of my waist circumference plus the 1 inch for the dart, and then the half inch. And hope you understand. Then I'll add 1.5 inch seam allowance. Let me repeat the measurement. Quarter of the on the bust, then the 1.5 inch, and then 1.5 inch for seam allowance. Then I'll connect it like this. Side seam. So after that, I'll go ahead and add the 1/2 inch seam allowance at the armhole side. It is served for joining the lining, or if you are adding a sleeve to it, it also help. It also serve as a seam allowance for the sleeve, for joining the sleeve. So at the neckline, I will be going down by 2 inches. So it depends on how deep you want your neckline to be. So for mine, I'm going down by 2 inches. Then I'll go ahead and connect it. So after connecting it like this, I will also add this sewing allowance at the neckline, 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then I'll connect it and then extend it to the zipper area and then cut it out. So after cutting it out, then I'll go ahead to come up by 1 inch. You know that the front is always longer than the back, so I will go down by 1 inch. I will go up by 1 inch. Go up by 1 inch from the down part. Then as you see me doing, and then I'll connect it like this. You can see it. Then I'll cut it out like this. So this is it unfold. So I'll go ahead and cut the material and then the lining using the pattern. Then the lining is 1.5 inch shorter than the main fabric. So this is it. So after that, I'll go ahead to notch the bust point and the under bust point. So after that, I went ahead to fuse a gum stay to the main fabric, but if you have a hair stay, that one will serve better. Then I went ahead to cut out the wording. I used a very soft wording, and I cut out the center front, and then the side front. The width is 4 inches, but if your bustier is from 40 inches and above, you can use 5 inches or 4.5 inches. Then I will place it like this. Place it very well, and then curve the side like this. So easy to do. Curve the side like this. Then notch the down part. That will indicate the down and the side. Yes, for me, I used to notch it so that it will tell me or direct me which side is the down part and the side. So after that, I went ahead to stitch down on my main fabric, the center front and the side fronts. So after that, I'll go ahead to start joining the bustier, like to form the bustier. So I will place the side front and the center front like this, and then make sure that the notches aligned together, and then I will pin it like this. So I'll pin it down. So this is it. I'll go ahead and pin the other side, starting from the bust point notch, and then I'll pin and pin. This is it. I'll go ahead and stitch it with my sewing machine. So this is how it looks after stitching it. Then I will now go ahead and notch the underbore so that it relaxes very well. Then go ahead and iron it open. Iron it very well. So after that, I'll be marking the dart at the back the way we marked it on our pattern paper, on our brand paper. So I'll go ahead and mark it like that. Then I'll fold it and stitch it. So after stitching it, I stitch it like this. So this is how it looks. So next thing to do is to join the front and the back. I'll place the front, then place the back. So I'll be joining the side with the 1.5 inches that we added for seam allowance. So this is it after joining. So I will go ahead and trim it off so that it will blend very well. So I've already joined the lining the way I joined the main fabric, the main dress, or the main tube top, or the main bustier. Then I will be joining the lining and the main tube like together. After that, I will go ahead and notch the seams. So after notching, I will be top stitching it at the lining side. So after top stitching it at the lining side, I will join the down part. So after joining the down part, I'll be joining the side, one of the sides. So after joining it, and then the side that I left open, I will flip it inside out from there. Flip it inside out. So this is it. So after flipping it inside out, make sure you iron it very well, and then I will go ahead and close the other end. So I'll be closing the other end. So after that, I'll go ahead and fix the zipper. So that will bring us to the end of the tutorial. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section. Thanks for watching. See you guys in my next video. Bye bye.